topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the hosts and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Barry G. Fowler, EA, brings you Tax Talk for You right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. As an enrolled agent and a national leader in tax resolution, as well as trucker, bookkeeping, and tax planning with over 30 years of experience, Barry will break down taxes, bookkeeping, tax planning, and tax relief for individuals and businesses just like you. So let's have some Tax Talk for You with your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome to Tax Talk for You, our final show of the year. Hey, we're going to come up and celebrate the new year here this week. So Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. Hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas break. We kind of got a chance to get away from the office and everything. When we're starting to look forward to the new year, tax season starting for us. Tax season gets us time of all kinds of filings. I mean, it's kind of like the triple, quadruple witching month when it comes to taxes and moving into January, because, one, we got to get making sure that you got your estimated tax payments made if you're required to make them by January 15th. You then have the filing deadlines for all kinds of forms for payroll taxes, 941s, 940s, W-2s, and then you also have the filing requirements for 1099 miscellaneous, 1099 NEC, all coming up by the end of January. Whew, that is a lot to be done in 1 month. And when you have a company like Trucker Tax Tools that does a lot of bookkeeping for owner-operators and businesses, you've got to make sure that you got everything right to be able to issue the 1099s for anybody that's driving for any of the trucking companies that we're doing bookkeeping for. You got to make sure that any other 1099s that need to be sent out, you've got all the information for, which we try to collect throughout the year from our clients. So you've got a lot of work to do. You want to make sure that you've got all your I's dotted and T's crossed and the books done, so that you know that you've got all the payments you've made to your contractors in the system to be able to issue those 1099s. Now, as we move into the new year, one of the big things that you as a taxpayer want to make sure is that, hey, you're getting off on the right foot. So if you owe the IRS or state taxes, it is a great time to get a solution in place to start the new year without having to look over your shoulder at what the IRS is going to be doing to you. Yes, the IRS collections, they don't care what time of the year it is. They don't care if it's the new year. They don't care if it's Christmas. They don't care if it's Easter or any other holiday out there. They just want their money, because any money you have, they consider theirs. So to deal with the IRS, the first thing you should do is make sure you have filed all your tax returns. So if you have any unfiled tax returns, we need to get those filed first and foremost. Second thing, before you explore any of the IRS payment options or solutions, we need to do a complete tax analysis to check to see if not just in compliance, but what the tax debt the IRS is saying you owe, check the statute of limitations to see if any of this debt is going to fall off anytime soon. And then make a decision whether or not you're going to go to maybe a short-term payment plan, a long-term payment plan, offering compromise, temporary delay of collections due to financial hardship, non-collectible status. All these things can be out there in play. So we're going to go through each one of these things and make a decision. Hey, what do we need to do and how do we need to do it as we're going through this program? So when we talk about filing all the returns, the first crucial step of filing unfiled returns, the reason we have to do that is because the IRS requires you to be current on all filing and payment requirements for the current year to be eligible for most IRS payment options, even if you cannot afford the full amount owed at the time of filing. So what they're saying is that you need to make sure you filed every return. That means 1040s, if you have S Corp, 1120Ss, if you have a partnership, 1065s, payroll tax forms, the whole works, all have got to be filed, and they prefer them filed on time. So you then need to start getting all those in compliance, but making sure that current year you're doing everything timely. Now, what does the IRS mean by being current on all filing and payment requirements? Because obviously, if you owe the IRS money and you can't afford to pay them, you're not going to be current on your payment requirements. They're only talking about payment requirements for the current year. That means your estimated tax payments. That means your payroll tax payments. So you got to be making these payments timely for this year. So if we're moving into 2026, the real nice thing is you have a clean slate. So the first estimated tax payment isn't going to be due for 26 until April 15th. You will need to make your payroll tax payments if you're doing payroll and stuff. So, those payments would be due based on what the IRS is sending you a letter now about that says you got to pay, weekly or semi-weekly or monthly or quarterly. You've got to be in compliance with whatever the rules are for payroll taxes. And then we can move forward to figure out what your options are. So, from here on out, you're going to be required to file on time. So filing your return, by the deadline, or if you're filing 1040 and you do an extension, making sure you have it fully paid or something by April 15th, and then get your return filed by the extension deadline. So it gives you some options, but by filing these returns by the deadline, it's going to help you avoid the failure to file penalty, which is often much more significant than the failure to pay penalty. So, you need to be aware of these things so that you can look at what is going to be happening to you if you miss filing deadlines. Because not only when you miss that filing deadline, if you were to put a payment plan in place or an offering compromise in place and you miss a deadline, well, then the penalties are severe and you lose your payment plan, you lose your offering compromise. Those you can't afford to lose at that point and then have to put them back in place again. So it becomes very important that once you have a solution, and even as you're working on your solution, you file everything on time, including your payroll tax forms, including your company tax forms, and your personal tax forms. Now, One thing that does help you along the way, and maybe even putting some delays in for the IRS, is paying what you can when you can. You know, even if you're making some payments towards it, sometimes it delays the IRS's collection because it reduces what you owe, but it also reduces the amount of penalties and interest that are going to be accruing as well on that tax debt. And it gives the appearance that you're actually attempting to put a solution in place or working towards putting a solution in place. So sometimes even making that contribution towards the IRS, towards your debt, that payment, it helps moving things down the road and delaying things with the IRS. That sometimes it puts off the collection activity as well. Sometimes that small payment goes a long way to generating goodwill, especially sometimes if you're dealing with a revenue officer and you're saying, hey, I can't afford to make any payments. I can't afford this. I can't afford to pay the debt, whatever it may be. That little bit of a payment out there makes it a little bit simpler to do it. Hey, if you need help with tax debt, make sure you call Taxation Solutions at 888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016. We can help you find a solution to your tax problem. We offer at Taxation Solutions, tax relief, taxationsolutions.net. We offer free consultations. So give us a call and let us help you figure out your options and what you need to do to put a solution in place to solve your tax debt once and for all. Hey, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to continue exploring what you need to do to help solve your tax debt with the IRS or even your state taxing authority. We'll do that right after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. If you owe the IRS or are going through an IRS audit, don't go at it alone. Call Taxation Solutions Tax Relief at 888-930-1016. We are your solution for IRS debts, audits, back taxes, garnishments, liens, and levies. Whether you're an individual or business, you need a solution and a strong, aggressive tax resolution. Don't let the IRS walk all over you. Stop the IRS now. Call 888-930-1016 or go to taxationsolutions.net now for a free, no obligation consultation. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. Is the IRS ruining your life? We've heard it from many people that have called taxationsolutions.net at 888-930-1016 that the IRS is ruining my life. IRS has taken everything out of my bank account. IRS has garnished my wages or garnished Social Security. The IRS is relentless when it comes to collections. Why do you think they are the biggest, baddest collection agency in the world? They have intrusive calls, terrifying notices in the mail. I mean, when you open those letters, you're terrified. Some of them don't even open them. Threatening messages. What's really unsettling to me, to taxpayers out there that are getting these letters, is how much power they can legally hold over you, your finances, your career, your life. And every day you fail to act, they're throwing more and more fees, penalties, interest. Hey, you don't have to be powerless. You can actually use us here at taxationsolutions.net by calling us for a free consultation and us finding a solution to your problem to get the IRS out of your life, off your back, and a solution in place so they can stop ruining your life. Hey, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, we do offer you our playbook. You can go to www.irsplaybook.info. Again, irsplaybook.info to discover the IRS playbook we've used for 30 plus years to get the IRS off your back for good in as little as 3 simple steps. Again, that's www.irsplaybook.info to get the information to put a solution in place. It's our 3 simple steps. We try to make it simple. We try to make it easy. We try to keep the IRS off your back. So using us, you can win the game. The game of defeating the IRS, the game of putting a solution, getting IRS out of your life, getting the IRS to leave you alone, to get you the solution you qualify for. So to get penalties abated, to maybe get the tax reduced, maybe to get it eliminated altogether. So, what are your options? At the end of the day, that's the question. What's my option? What's my option for a solution to my tax debt when I owe the IRS? Now, it doesn't matter how much money you owe, whether it's $1,000, $2,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, $2 million, there's a solution for you. And you could owe more than that. There's a solution for you. And the IRS revenue manual provides several different options depending on your financial situation. So the first one, a short-term payment plan. The IRS will actually grant you up to 180 days to pay the full balance. Now, any interest or penalties will still apply and still accrue during that 180 days. They won't give you the full 180 days if you've already had holds in place for 30 or 60 days. They will subtract that out of that hold. Sometimes we've been able to get them to give us the full 180 days, especially if we can prove that you're going after a loan or a mortgage or something like that, and then you can pay it off within that 180 days. And but you're still going to be accruing the interest. You're going to be accruing the penalties on the money that you owe. So it'll be more money than what we put the hold in place for the 180 days, but it does offer you a solution. So maybe you're going after, a second mortgage, or maybe you're borrowing money out of your 401k to pay something off. This is an option, and you can do that while you're waiting for the money. The hold's there. The IRS isn't going to take anything out of your account. So it does give you the option there on what to pay it off in full over that 180 days. The other option that they give you is a long-term payment plan, their installment agreement. It allows you to make monthly payments up to 72 months. And it's much longer than 180 days, of course. So up to 72 months. And you can either go in and apply that online if you owe less than $50,000. But it's going to be a full pay plan. They're going to tell you how much they want, and that's what you've got to pay. So if you can afford to pay it off over a full 72 months, then you can take their offer and pay them the full amount over the course of 72 months. Again, they're going to continue to accrue interest on this. They're going to continue to hit you with any penalties that they can hit you with still. If you fail in doing this long-term payment plan anytime in the future, it kicks you out of the payment plan, and then you have to go back in and reapply. Now, if you fail to make estimated tax payments and you have taxes due come April 15th, it could kick you out of this long-term payment plan. If you fail to pay your taxes come April 15th, guess what? They will kick you out of this payment arrangement. If you file an extension on your taxes and then you still owe money come October 15th when you file, guess what? You're right, they kick you out of that payment plan again. Still. If you don't file an extension and don't meet the deadline of April 15th, guess what? They kick you out of that payment plan again. See, every payment plan that they put in place requires full compliance. Full compliance means filing and paying taxes and paying estimated taxes timely, filing your tax return timely, paying all the taxes that you have coming due by April 15th, not October 15th. Because remember that extension to file is only an extension to file the tax return, not an extension of time to pay. IRS does not offer an extension of time to pay. They only offer the extension of time to file. So if you're missing deadlines, whether it is your long-term payment plan or a short-term payment plan, compliance is still required of you. Now, you just got done looking at this and you looked at how much money the IRS is requiring of you to pay, and you can't afford it. Now, what do you do? Well, there's still a couple different options, possibly 3 different options you still have available to you to do. It could be a partial pay installment agreement, could be an offering compromise, or it could be non-collectible status. So the one of those 3 options is completely available to you. And we will go through those options in our next break. But if you are needing help to solve this problem with the IRS, hey, we have specials going on right now at taxationsolutions.net just for you to get you started in the new year on the right foot. All you got to do is call us at 888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016 to take advantage of the year-end specials that we are offering to you as a taxpayer that owes the IRS money. Get that solution in place early next year so that you're not still sitting behind that 8 ball, or you're not waiting and looking over your shoulder to see that the IRS is going to take everything out of your bank account. Again, free consultation, free phone call, 888-930-1016, taxationsolutions.net. Taxation Solutions Tax Relief. Get the relief you deserve. Hey, we're going to talk about your other options right after this break.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for you. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Trucker Tax Tools handles all your bookkeeping and taxes no matter what level trucker you are. Life on the road can be taxing, but that doesn't mean that your wallet or time with your family should suffer. Trucker Tax Tools makes your life run smoothly. Go to truckertaxtools.com for a free guide that will give you the tools to never worry about your taxes again. Call Trucker Tax Tools at 877-966-2477 or go to truckertaxtools.com now and let the experts keep you trucking. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. Got a message here, a question from Al. Al said he was dealing with the IRS revenue officer, and they said he did not have a right to representation. Interesting. Hey, Al, thanks. Great question, because people dealing with the IRS, sometimes the IRS says, no, you don't need representation. And it can be interpreted that you don't have a right to it. Well, the IRS actually has a taxpayer bill of rights. And you have in that bill of rights the right to retain representation. Now, when you retain us to be your representative, your power of attorney, we actually step into your boots and deal with the IRS directly. You don't get to deal with the IRS. They don't get to call you unless we are failing to truly represent you by not answering their questions or not getting information or not calling them back. That doesn't happen here at Taxation Solutions. We are very aggressive to go after the IRS and find the best solution for you. We take it upon ourselves to move through this as quick as possible, but we also need your help. So if you're delaying us, then you and I will have that conversation. If it's the revenue officer not wanting to deal with us, we will go above their head and work to the manager. So we will find the solution and move this thing through as quick as possible. Now, you also have other rights in this Bill of Rights, and the right to be informed, the right to quality service. That's kind of funny. The right to pay no more than the correct amount of tax, the right to challenge the IRS's position, the right to appeal an IRS decision, right to finality, right to privacy, right to confidentiality, of course, the right to representation, and the right to a fair and just tax system. Nobody ever that I've talked to feels like the system is right. Is the system fair? And is the system just? No. Anyway, we're going to dedicate a show to the Bill of Rights. Maybe we'll do that next week so that we can talk about what are your rights when you owe the IRS money. But what we're talking about today is your solution to your tax problem. So, Al, thank you for the question. Do you have a right to representation? Give us a call at taxationsolutions.net, Taxation Solutions Tax Relief at 888-930-1016. And hey, we're ending the year on a high note at Trucker Tax Tools, discounted bookkeeping moving into 2026. Now's a great time to get signed up for your bookkeeping. If you're an owner operator, get started and move forward with us starting in January. It's a great time to start the new year off with the best bookkeeping service ever at truckertaxtools.com. You can give us a call. We'll have a free consultation there as well. Talk about your bookkeeping, what we can do to help your life move and run smoothly. Anyway, your other options: installment agreements, partial pay installment agreements. This is a really nice one. So partial pay means you're not going to pay the full amount due. You're going to pay less than the amount of due. This usually comes up because you can only afford so much to be paid each month based on your financial situation, based on the 433 that gets submitted to the revenue agent or the revenue officer we're dealing with, that proves to them that you can't afford to pay a large amount on this tax debt. And this payment will run over a number of months that are left in the statute of limitations. And any statutes that run out over the period of time, the debt falls off. So when we talk about statute of limitations, when we're doing a tax analysis, we're looking at how old the tax debt is. So if you filed a return Let's say you filed the return in April of 2016, and that tax debt has a life of 10 years. So come April of 2026, that tax debt will fall off. So maybe we can delay out to there, but maybe we just got to put in partial pay installment agreement in place, and you have other debts. And so we can put in a payment plan that you can afford, and it runs for the life of the debts out there up to 72 months, but it would be where it's a smaller payment and the debt will fall off. So a lot of times we take somebody that owes, maybe taxes from 15, 16, 17, 18, and then, 22, 24, 26 or something like that. And they have debt that's falling off periodically over the next 2 or 3 years. Well, if we can arrange this payment plan right, you may have 2 or 3 years of debt falling off while you're making these payments over the next, 7 years. If you got 6 years, you got current debt that's out there, but it's less than the full amount. So you see debt fall off. We've taken some clients who've owed quite a bit of money and put them on a partial pay installment agreement, and had them see debt falling off, quite a bit. We've also worked with some clients where we've actually put them into a non-collectible status, and debt has fallen off over a few months or years as well. Now, just because statute of limitations runs 10 years does not mean the debt falls off after actually 10 years, because there are delays that put in that stop the statute of limitations running, such as filing an offer in compromise, such as filing a partial pay installment agreement while they're processing it. It delays the statute of limitations. So there are other things, collective due process hearings, that can delay your statute of limitations running out. But it is an option. So that partial pay installment agreement sometimes is better than what you hear about on the radio all the time, offering compromise and things like that. So we look at all available options to you to get you the right solution to your tax problem. Now, before we get into offering compromise and all the requirements and everything else that you have to do with an offering compromise, let's talk about non-collectible status. If, and remember, all these things are if the IRS determines that you can't afford to pay, you get a partial pay installment agreement. Or if the IRS determines you can afford to pay it, you get a full payment plan. If the IRS determines you cannot pay your basic living expenses and the tax debt at the same time, they may temporarily delay collection efforts. Now, debt does not in any way, shape, or form go away. Does not end your debt problem, but it does end your collection problem. Interest and penalties are going to continue to accrue, but active collections is suspended until your financial condition improves. Now, who determines when your financial condition improves? I know, the IRS. So many times we put them in non-collectible status. That means you're going to stay there for probably 2 years. You could stay there longer if, when you're filing your taxes, your financial situation hasn't changed at all, or maybe gotten worse, or your income hasn't gotten any better. But if the IRS sees an influx of income, an influx of taxable income, then the IRS could determine they want to relook at it, reopen it. So generally we tell people, hey, this is going to last for at least 2 years, sometimes longer. So sometimes we can get you through a couple of years of statute of limitations. or maybe we can get you through the period of time that we need to get you through to reset your life out there. So you do have the options out there to be into a non-collectible status. But again, you've got to be able to prove, we've got to be able to prove to the IRS that you cannot meet your current basic living expenses and pay tax debt at the same time. So sometimes there's hurdles we've got to get over to make this work for you and make it simple. Which way is right? Is that offering compromise that we're going to talk about next the right way to go? We will determine that with you. Hey, again, if you're a trucker, owner, operator, hey, give us a call at Trucker Tax Tools. You already spend too much time and too much money trying to keep up with your books. Go to truckertaxtools.com, schedule a free consultation. Let us take care of your books. Let us help you do things right. Call us at 877-996-2477. Again, it's 877-996-2477. Hey, we're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about offers and compromise. And we'll do that right after this.
We have only scratched the surface of today's show. Please stand by as Barry G. Fowler will be right back with Tax Talk for You. As an owner-operator, you already spend too much time away from your family. Stop spending time doing paperwork. Go to truckertaxtools.com, a solution built specifically for truckers. Truckertaxtools.com makes your life run smoothly. Let's get back to Tax Talk for You with more Tax Talk. Once again, here's your host, Barry G. Fowler.
Hey, welcome back. Had a question that came in through one of our Facebook pages here. It's through Jeff. Can Taxpayer Advocate Service help me with an offer and compromise? Well, Taxpayer Advocate Service, you access them through filing a form called 911. It's an independent organization within the IRS that can assist you if you're experiencing financial difficulty or other problems that normal IRS channels can't resolve. Now, they're not going to do an offer and compromise for you. If there's a problem with it, or maybe the IRS pulled money out of your bank account while the offer is out there pending, Taxpayer Advocate Service can help you with that and get solutions. Sometimes you have offers that have been pending for a long period of time and you need somebody to do it and nobody's answering you. They might be able to help you. That's what kind of they're there for, is to help you from that situation. We've used Taxpayer Advocate Service to help our clients when we're hitting a roadblock with some decisions that are being made and we need somebody else's input and help on that. But you can go to the Taxpayer Advocate website and see what all they can do for you. But no, they're not going to put a payment plan in place. They're not going to do an offer and compromise. They're not going to put you in non-collectible status. They don't do that. That is not a service that they offer. And let's see. Have a question that just came in. Actually, there's no name on this one, but they're out of Baton Rouge. Can I just hire any company? Because I've heard this tax relief company saying they could eliminate all my tax debt right away. Well, first off, I'm going to tell you, be skeptical. Anybody that tells you without talking to you, without gathering financial information from you, without maybe even doing a tax analysis out there, just promoting and saying, hey, we can eliminate your tax debt. It's just an outlandish claim. I mean, they can't make that determination. One, IRS is the only one that determines what you qualify for based on their rules. But we guide what the IRS is going to tell you you're going to qualify for, because we can pre-qualify you and know exactly what the solution is we're going to put in place. Now, if you're lying to us or not telling us everything or hiding things from us or being very vague, that help sometimes is a lot harder to give because we're not gathering all the information. And you got to remember, no matter what solution you put in place, if you are committing fraud to the IRS and not revealing everything, the IRS is the largest, biggest, baddest collection agency in the world. So therefore, they will find it out. Now let's talk about offers and compromise. According to radio, according to a lot of our competitors' websites, everybody qualifies for an offer and compromise. Not true. Unfortunately, if you are determined that you can pay, you're going to be on a long-term payment plan, or a partial pay installment agreement. One of those be what you are. Matter of fact, you could even go long-term and do a stepped plan where, hey, right now for the first year we're at this amount, and then we step up to a higher amount. That becomes a full pay installment agreement. IRS does that as well because you're basically committing and giving an opportunity to readjust things in your life, maybe pay off a vehicle or something that allows you to pay more on the tax debt a year down the road. And they give you that option to be able to do that as well. It's still a full pay. But offer and compromise can allow you to settle tax debt for less than the full amount if, and only if, the IRS determines you are unable to pay the full liability, or it'll create a huge financial hardship. Now, we look at these things and weigh these out because sometimes achieving this, lowering the tax debt you're going to pay, can be done the same way with the partial pay installment agreement over a longer period of time, and you eliminate the same amount or more debt with it than an offer and compromise. Offer and compromise comes with a lot of rules and regulations that go with it. When you're looking at the offer and compromise, everybody considers, I am in a financial hardship if I've got to make this payment. Well, just because it puts you in a financial hardship in your lifestyle, it's not necessarily the lifestyle the IRS allows under their national standards. See, we've had people that have home payments that have $4,000 or $5,000 a month home payments, but the IRS only allows maybe $2,000. Well, the other couple thousand that you have to pay on your home isn't allowed, so therefore that's money that's available to the IRS to pay. That could kick you out or make your offer be much higher than you can afford to pay over the offer's period of time, which could be 5 months or 24 months, depending on which. And you may not be able to do it. You may not be able to borrow the money. You may not be able to make it work. The IRS is going to look at your income, your expenses, your assets, the equity in those assets when they evaluate your application. Now, equity and assets, you own a home. Your home is greatly appreciated. So maybe you bought your home for $200,000. It's now worth $400,000. And your mortgage is only $160,000. Leaves you a lot of money to be able to pay the IRS and the debt back. Even if the IRS allows the fire sale value at 80%. So 80% of $400,000, then you take out your mortgage. There's still a lot of money there. There's still a lot of money. 320 minus 160, it still leaves you 160 to pay to the IRS according to the IRS rules. So maybe that rules you out. Maybe you don't have good enough credit to go get a second mortgage on your house or a line of credit on your house to pay the IRS back. So now that offer isn't qualified. Maybe you have other assets that you don't want to sell. So maybe we need to go after this a different way in a partial pay or long-term payment plan. Things you've got to look at, and then you've got to stay in compliance. Now, you can go to the IRS offering compromise pre-qualifier tool online, see if you're eligible before you even go to apply. You can call taxationsolutions.net at 888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016. Let us talk about it. Let us give you that free consultation to help you make the decision on what program you should be using to solve your tax debt once and for all with the IRS. Now, all right, so the offering compromise is the route you want to go. The offering compromise is that thing you heard, pipe dream out there that puts the solution in place that you're going to think is, the be all end all. Then comes the rules. The moment that offer is filed, you are required to stay 100% in compliance. Now, what does compliance mean? The first thing it means is that your estimated tax payments for this year are all current. So did you make your first 3 payments of your offering or your estimated taxes for 2025, and then you have a new one due in January? Can you prove you're not required to make them? Because once they get that offer, that's the first couple things they're going to ask for. Second thing, you have to continue to make sure you make your estimated tax payments if required every quarter during 2026. Third thing, when you file your 2025 return on April 15th or extension, your taxes that would be due then have to be 100% paid by April 15th. And your first estimate paid by April 15th. Didn't get those things accomplished? They just kicked your offer back. You just wasted your time and your money. Then, let's say you make it down this road and your income all of a sudden had gone up over the last 8 months while this offer was pending. Now they reject your offer because you're making too much money. Don't change your lifestyle. Don't change your job. Don't change your income. Let the offer be processed. Let the offer get accepted. After it's accepted, change all that. But you still got to stay current in estimated tax payments. You still got to stay current on filings and everything else. For how long? 5 full years after it's accepted. That's right. 5 full years after the offer is accepted. So you have to be in compliance 100% while it's pending. Stay in compliance 100% while the offer was accepted for the next 5 years. Again, if you need help talking about your IRS debt, call Taxation Solutions. We have no judgment zone. Go to taxationsolutions.net, Taxation Solutions Tax Relief. Go to our Facebook page. But hey, it's easier, quicker, free consultation to call us at 888-930-1016. Again, 888-930-1016. Get the solution in place that you need to solve your tax debt. Hey, this show is fun. Time flies when you're having fun, they say. Make sure you check out all of our podcasts at taxtalk4u.com. Again, Tax Talk, number 4, letter U.com. Be here every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time, right here on W4CY Radio. We're here talking about taxes, tax problems, tax solutions. If you're a trucker, your bookkeeping, your taxes as an owner operator. Hey, get in, be here every day. Hey, have a great week. Have a very God-blessed and glorious new year. And we'll see you right back here at Tax Talk for You. Follow us at taxtalk4you.com, but be here every Monday, 10 a.m. Have a happy new year, and we'll see you next year.
Are you an individual or business that wants to understand taxes and how they affect you? Are you looking for specific tax advice for self-employed, business owners, and truckers? Are you behind on taxes and your bookkeeping? Are you dealing with the IRS and ready to have some relief? Then you need Tax Talk for You, hosted by tax and trucker expert Barry G. Fowler, EA. Tune in 10 a.m. Eastern Time every Monday right here on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Don't forget to check this and past episodes at taxtalk4you.com. See you next week at W4CY.com.